Hello jazz guitarists of the world. Today's lesson is definitive proof that I need to get out more. It's 20 harmonisations of the opening phrase to Errol Garner's composition Misty. I'm going to try and find as many different ways of doing that as possible. Before we get going, I should say that there is a PDF with all the chord voicings to be found on my website samdunnguitarist.co.uk, and you can download that for absolutely free. If you want to ask me any questions or have anything to say about the lesson, please do drop me a line through the contact form on my website. Other than that, let's get going. The very first example is completely diatonic, that is to say there are no funny notes going on there at all, very simple. It's just an F minor 11, a B flat 13, and an E flat major 9. Lovely. Second one is almost identical. We're going to add a little bit more of a colour tone within the third example, and it gets us playing everybody's favourite chord, the Hendrix chord. Got an F minor 11, then an E7 sharp 9. At this point you can continue playing Misty, or you can start to play Purple Haze. We'll stick with Misty though, so F minor 11, E7 sharp 9, and then down to the E flat major 9. I quite like this little voicing, this little run, because we've got 5 notes in this chord, 4 notes in this one, and 3 notes in this one. Oh, very pretty. The next example, F minor 11, once again. And now we're starting to get into the slightly more fruity things in life. This is a B flat 13 flat 9. Next example, we've got 2 chords that come from the diminished scale. I should probably say that's what we're dealing with on this B flat 13. A lot of our altered harmonies are going to come from that. Normally on a 5 chord you play your altered licks and your altered chords. Problem with that here is that the sharp 5 found in a B flat, so the F sharp, or flat 13 if you will, is going to clash quite horrendously with the G natural that is found in the melody notes. So if you're accompanying a singer or horn player, or even just playing it for yourself, your F sharp is going to sound awful next to the G natural. You're going to get something like this. Which is probably not the sound we're going for. So instead we use the 13 flat 9 chord on this sort of thing. That voicing gets a G natural, G major triad over the B flat. Comes from the B flat diminished scale. Anyway, so this is example number 5. So yes, that's one of these. I really like this voicing actually. And then just slide it down. And then we get this lovely E flat major 7 with a sharp 11. Bit of a stretch that one. Bit of a Ted Green voicing. You could then, if you were playing that solo, resolve it to something like this. Our next one, we've got big F minor 11, and then actually this is the voicing I just showed you, the G triad over the B flat. So. I like that because we keep the B flat in the bass. Okay, we're starting to get a little bit more fruity now, some slightly unusual chord tones coming in. This is, I'm not sure which number we're on to now, number 7. A flat 6/9, it's really still just an F minor 11. Starting to get some movement inside the chord voicings. I'm a big fan of George Van Epps, Ted Green, all these wonderful chord players, and as well as having some the right note on the top and an interesting note on the bottom, a lot of the time they would have something going on inside the chord as well. So that's what we've got going on here. This next example, we're going to separate the melody note from the chords, much as a piano player might play a single note in the right hand and then comp in the left hand. I'm going to try and give something of that approach with this. So we're going to play. That voicing, incidentally, is a slightly more stretchy way of just playing this one that we've already played. Either way is fine. In our next example, a little bit more inner movement, we're delaying the resolution, playing a G major over B flat, and that's going to resolve nicely. Continuing on, another bit of inner movement with this next one. An F minor 11, but we've got a flat 5, so one of these half diminished chords. I like that one, there's quite a lot going on in there. Of course, in context, that might be too much for you, you might just want to play. But it's nice to know that you've got the option of having these extra notes should you need them. Moving on, now we're going to do something slightly away from the standard 2-5-1 approach. We're going to, instead of playing an F minor 11, we're going to play something that's essentially a B flat major 7, a 6 and a 9, then a D flat 13 flat 9, it's B flat major 9. The reason that works is the melody, the bass notes ascend by a tone, so you get this sort of parallel rising motion from the bass. You get this. That's not to say you want to play power chords, but it works quite nicely in this context. You can always do things like that, but just be aware of what the bass player is playing, what the singer's expecting. Sometimes these things are best left to yourself in the pleasure of your own room, so to speak. Moving on, I really like this one. This, in my mind, sort of started off as a kind of a minor 2-5, actually into the relative minor, into C minor. But it's somewhere in between there and the original. We've got this chord. Ooh, fruity. With this chord, you could think of that as just a B flat 7. But with the 7th in the bass and with an added flat 9, works quite nicely. And then C minor 9 with a major 7. I like this one a lot. Lovely. Moving on, we've got slidey power chords. Everybody needs a slidey power chord. Back to Purple Haze, but of course with the B flat on the top. Slide that down, and then that's a chord you'll see sometimes written as like a G minor with a flattened 6, but really it's an E flat major 7 chord, E flat major 9 in first inversion with a G in the bass. So once again, like that as well. Moving on, we've got this lovely A flat triad with the 9th on top. Substituting for our F minor, it is still an F minor, of course. I just love the plaintive quality of that voicing. Very Andy Summers. And then turn that into a minor chord with a major 7. And then this voicing is one of my favourites. Let's try that again. I particularly like this voicing because you've got this lovely clash at the bottom, you've got this clash at the top, and also a very dissonant interval of a major 7th between the lowest note and the highest note, but put it all together. I think maybe it works because you've got this perfect 5th in the middle. Anyway, I like that one. Moving on, we've got more diminished scale harmony. And then a nice variation on that. Was running out of voicings by this point, so I thought let's put the melody up the octave and we get some lovely things like this. That's one of my favourite voicings, this one, this G triad over the B flat. This is very common. Barney Kessel. Moving on, before I get carried away. Again, this is another nice voicing. Some of these will be a little bit tricky to play on a bigger archtop guitar. My big 7-string, I don't think I can get up here. Certainly can on this one. Also good on electric guitars as well, of course. Here's an F minor 11 with it's this voicing, which I'm sure everyone's heard. But up the octave with the 11th at the top, you get this. Oh, lovely. And then a bit of open string madness. Let's play that again. I like that a lot. And now coming to our last two examples, another thing that we can do but we very rarely do is put the melody on the bottom of our chord voicing. That can be used occasionally. It's a really cool sound, you don't want to use it all the time. I like to do this on my 7-string with a low A. You have to be a little bit more, well, it's still possible on this. So this next example, which I suppose is, number 19, goes something like this. So there's just to get the melody. The difficult thing there, or the challenge there, is of course the last note, the D natural, is the major seventh, and a major 7 chord in third inversion does sound a little strange. So instead I'm delaying the resolution and playing again from diminished thing based on the D. And finally, again, to have my 7 string for this one, but I'm going to stick to the 6 for one lesson at least. We're going to have to put our last melody note up the octave. So we're going to start here, and then it would be a low D, but we can't get that, so. And to harmonise that, I came up with this. There's more than enough there to be going along with for a while. Obviously it works as the opening phrase in Misty, but of course these are all just 2-5-1s, so I'd suggest transposing them into as many different keys as you can, and of course get them going in rhythm. Experiment with playing the melody note on the top and then putting a chord underneath, all sorts of things like that. Once again, as I said at the start, the PDF with all of these is available on my website, samdunguitarist.co.uk. If you have any questions, do drop me an email, and I'm taking Skype students, or if you're in the north of England, I'm based in Leeds, you can come over for a lesson. And until then, enjoy, keep playing, and I look forward to hearing from you.